Okay, hello, hello. This is the workshop, the May 30th workshop on energy centers and understanding energy, how it flows through the body, and the connection between your energy flow, your health, your energy, and the way things are showing up in your life. So we're going to go through all of that, like to give you a good understanding of what's going on. And if you're new, you've not been in my world before, my name is Linda Downey. I am a transformational health and spiritual coach. I'm a functional health practitioner, and I work with women who are looking to overcome anxiety and stress and overwhelm and painful things that have happened in their past so that they can create the life that they want. So it might be from their past many, many years ago. It might be something more recently that happened, but whatever it is, they're looking to overcome so that they can be living the life that they want to live. And understanding the energy and how it moves through you is huge. So as people are coming on, hi Sonia, as people are coming on,
Hi.
hi. I just started the introduction so that we
Okay.
get everything in. So as people are coming on, if you're joining late or you're watching the replay later, that's who I am. My name is Linda Downey, and this topic I'm so excited to really spend this hour talking about with you, because if you don't understand this, you can feel really blocked. And sometimes when you get
hmm
a handle on what's going on in your energy, it makes all the difference. So, and we're not taught in the Western culture, we're not really taught much about this. We're not, certainly not
No,
taught about it in schools, right? So for me, in my journey and how I kept looking to overcome the things in my life that I struggled with, and
Mhm.
health issues and relationship issues, all of it. At different points in my life, energy showed up and I didn't always connect the dots. Like I didn't understand like if I was talking to someone and they're like, "Oh, it's your chi." The Chinese call it chi, your life force energy. And I was like, "Well, what is that? I don't know what that is." Or 30 years ago, somebody did Reiki on me, which and Reiki is an energy modality. And most people these
Yep.
days have probably heard of Reiki, but maybe don't understand what it is or what it does. So there were these snippets where it showed up in my life, but I didn't really get it until I actually sat down and studied it and took a course on it. And now I use it with my clients. We work on balancing energy and teaching people how to move energy through their body. So I want to share my screen with you. And what I'm going to share with you, I am going to include in when I send out the replay. So you can have these two as attachments and you can download them if you'd like to do that. So let's see. Here's the first one.
I heard of Ricky the first time 20 years ago.
Oh, you did? Have you ever had it done?
She was a friend. This is when I had my horseback riding stable, and she was a retired school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So she was an older lady.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she had done it. But back then, it's not that I didn't believe in it at all, but I kind of like, I felt like a guinea pig with her, kind of like, okay, you can do it. But I didn't really necessarily feel any different afterward.
Okay. Um,
But the last couple of years, I've watched a lot of people talking about it, a lot of videos, a lot of info, read things. So our biofield, uh, chakras, I understand it a lot more. And we all have, we're all electromagnetic. Am I saying it right?
we are
Okay.
photoelectric beings. We need light. We need light from the sun. Our bodies need light and energy, and we are
Yeah.
electromagnetic, which means we pull towards us what we're thinking about and giving our energy to gets pulled towards us. That's the magnetic part. So we actually have
Mhm.
um, a huge responsibility in how we're creating our lives. We're very much creating by what we're
Yes.
thinking, and people don't realize that. This is
Mm.
a diagram from Dr. Joe Dispenza. He calls it the energy centers. It's the same thing as the word chakras. He calls it
Okay.
energy centers because he doesn't want some people who hear the word chakra to think, oh, it's weird or something else. The word chakra just means wheel because the energy moves in a circle like a
Mhm.
wheel. So it's the Hindu word, I think it's Hindu, for wheel, and it is how the energy moves through us. So before we dive in,
Mhm.
this is how I think of it. I think this could be really helpful for people. Think of your energy as the energy system as the third um, circulatory system in your body. So you know from
Mhm.
school that we have two circulatory systems. We have our blood, and the blood
Mhm.
has to come from the heart, gets pumped down throughout the body, returns back up into the heart, and keeps moving. And it's very important that the blood moves in the right direction. It doesn't backflow. It's very important that it keeps moving, and it has very specific jobs to do to deliver to the cells what it's delivering, oxygen and other nutrients and different immune fighter cells,
Yes.
and to take away waste, right? So that's the blood. And we know if it's not flowing right, that that's a problem. The second circulatory system that people have learned about is the lymph system. And the lymph system kind of, it almost follows along very closely to the blood system. And it doesn't have a heart to pump. The lymph relies on gravity and movement. So you want to keep moving your body, and that's why rebounders, if you do a little bit of jumping or any kind of exercise,
Lymph system.
to get your muscles to help squeeze the lymph to keep moving because it doesn't have a heart pump. So those are the two systems that we learn about in school, and those are the two systems that people are familiar with. So when I first learned about the energy systems, what I learned, the way that I put it in my head is it's just a third circulatory system. We just can't see it. We can't see the energy, although now that we do have technology to see it, but we can't see it with our naked eye. We can't see it in the same way that we can see blood or lymph, but it's the same thing. Energy has to move through your body. It has to move in a particular way, like the blood does. So those wheels have to turn, and that's how the energy keeps moving. Without energy, there is no more life. Just like without blood, there is no more life. So energy is your life force energy that's keeping everything, keeping you in a state of being alive. And that energy can also get jammed up, go backwards, just like the blood, if the valves aren't opening right, or, if you have cardiovascular issues, if you have issues in your veins and stuff, it can get blocked. So can energy. And so it's very important that we understand how the energy centers work, where they are, and what they do. And so each center, this diagram is um, showing you the 7 centers. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger without it getting wonky. Okay. So here are the 7 centers. The up above our head is the 8th center, which is really the connection to the divine. We get our life force energy from a universal intelligent source energy, God, universe, source, whatever word you want to use. It's the same thing, in my opinion. It means the same thing. There's an intelligent force that created all of us, and we come from that. But the 7 centers that are actually in the body, they each one have their own nervous system, they have their own hormones and biochemistry. So even though it's an energy system, it's affecting the hormones and the biochemistry of the physical body. And the state that the physical body is in affects the energy. So there's a direct correlation with your energy and your body and your health. I'm going to tell you each of these, and what I'd like you to do before we get started is think of 2 issues in your health, in your physical health, that you've been struggling with, that maybe you've been trying a lot of things. It could be minor, like I can't get rid of weight. It could be something much more serious. But think of 2 health issues, 2 things that show up in your body. And then also think of 2 things in your life. Could be around relationships. It could be, in you feeling like you have personal success. It could be in your job. So think of 2 things. And if you have, if you're taking notes, then go ahead and write those things down. And as I go through the centers, see how much they correlate. Okay, so the very first one at the bottom here, I just want to make sure, can you see this? If I move it up. Each of the energy centers of your body has its own biological makeup. As I said, they have their own glands, their own hormones, their own chemicals, and even in little individual mini brains. So it's like these little individual systems that are communicating with each other all the way up through your body. All right. I wish it was a little easier to navigate big and small. So I apologize for that. If I barely touch it, it has a big change. Okay, so the first one down at the bottom, this is at the base of your tailbone. And if you think about on your body, it's like right where the perineum is, right at the bottom of your torso, and then your legs will, continue on from there. That's called your root chakra, or your root system, your root energy center, I should say. And this center here, I'm going to tell you what it's responsible for, what it connects with in the physical body, and then also in your life. So this system, the root system, this is where we develop our inner sense of security and safety. And if you think about it, that's the root of everything. How safe you feel, how secure you feel. It is the foundation of your tribe, like being part of a tribe or a family. And if you think about where it is at your body, right? It's where you eliminate things from. It's also where you connect with another person to create human life. It's also, tied to, they're all kind of connected to not kind of, they're connected to each other. So it's going to be connected to what's above it, which is reproduction and some of that lower part of the digestive system. So the root chakra, when this is well balanced and the energy is moving through it, and maybe you know people, maybe you yourself are like this, but when somebody has a balanced root chakra, they're very calm and graceful and clear, even when situations are stressful. They have like a rootedness. They feel grounded, and who they are when you're around them, you get a sense of they're very grounded. They're not all up in their head all the time. They're not always worried and anxious. They have a very grounded, calm presence. Okay, even when it's stressful. These energy centers can get out of balance, either too much energy, like hyperly active, or too little, and the energy can get stuck. I'm going to give you what shows up in your body and in your life when that happens. So I just described when that energy center is balanced. When it's not balanced, people will feel either lethargic or restless. They'll feel anxious, panicky, frustrated, because they don't have a sense of being grounded. There's no support, like, I know I'm okay. When you have a good root system, think of a tree or a plant. If it's got a good root system, that tree, even when the wind is really strong, it's not going to blow over, or that plant. So it's the root system that keeps it grounded and safe. Without that, you don't feel safe. And there's always a sense of something's not okay. We might have low self-esteem, be pessimistic, anything where if you're not feeling grounded, how would it make you feel? We become very attached to physical things, and we're always trying to make ourselves feel better because we're missing that inner groundedness. It relates to our roots. What was your family like growing up? Like when you think of your roots and what traditions there were, or what the culture in your household was like, that will very much relate to how safe you feel and how grounded your root chakra is. Health issues that are going to show up are constipation. So anything in this area of the body may not work right. Weight issues, not being able to shed weight, eating disorders, digestive issues, lower back pain, down low, and fatigue and lethargy. Okay, so this is also it's going to relate to reproduction and families. But think of this as the thing that sets the tone for everything above. And the energy moves like, just like the blood, the energy moves in a particular direction. So this is going to move in a direction where it comes up from the bottom all the way up. You want the energy to come all the way up, and then it's going to go outside and back around. All right. So it's like a big circular movement. Okay, the next one is called the sacral chakra. And you can think of your sacrum and your lower back, right? Just above your tailbone, just below the lumbar spine, like that triangle. I'm trying to make a triangle. You know, that triangle bone, right? Where the tailbone is. So just above that. So your sacrum, and also in the Eastern understanding of this, it's sacred. So this is called your sacral chakra. It's sacred because it's the center that governs everything that brings joy and pleasure and abundance. So it's sacred because it really brings the essence of why we're here to have life, which is to have a good and wonderful and creative life. And then it's also right level with your sacrum. So that's how I remember it. The sacral chakra that's where anything that you're passionate about, it might be passion with and for another person, but also passions in your life, like being passionate about issues or activities, like passionate about art or passionate about music or passionate about children, whatever it is. If you have passions, that's where they reside, in the sacral chakra. It's where it's our pleasure center, right? It's where the reproduction and sex is right there. It's 2 inches below the belly button. So it's above your tailbone, below your belly button. So it's right in there. And, when it's balanced, people feel free to have a fun life, to enjoy their life, to be passionate about things. And when people are not having good energy flow, they feel shut down. They haven't felt joy in a long time. I speak to so many women who are like, I just haven't felt joy in a long time. It affects the libido, it affects any gynecological issues, infertility issues, reproduction, anything like that. And in the relationship, connecting. So that's going to be where that center has a huge impact on all of those areas in your health and in your life. So right now, the only person on live with me is Sonia. Sonia, do you have any questions so far?
Well, so far I really like the way you're explaining it because I've read about the chakras. So, yes. And when you're talking about the energy going up and coming back around the toroidal field, is that how we say it in English? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, the toroidal field.
The Taurus field, Taurus field, Taurus, I guess we call it that way. But toroidal, now I can't say it.
Toroidal
So,
field, yeah.
toroidal field. So yes, I've read about that and watched videos, so I understand that whole principle, and that's great. So I like the way you're explaining it. Each energy center, and also like, okay, if it's blocked, these are some of the signs that you can relate that yours is probably blocked. So yes, I am already relating to the root chakra.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thanks. I just like it to be more interactive than me just talking the whole time, if that's
Yeah,
possible.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
you have
Not a
questions.
problem. Not a problem.
Okay. So the last thing I want to say about sacral is, if there's any baggage from the root chakra, like if the root chakra is stagnant and holding stuff and not moving, that's going to affect the sacral chakra, and it prevents us from feeling safe. And when we don't feel
Mhm.
safe, we have trouble experiencing joy
Yeah.
and connecting intimately with another person, right? It's difficult to be intimate and to have intimacy if you don't
Hmm.
feel safe. That's why the
Yeah.
root chakra is so important, because it's going to govern everything else. Um,
Hmm. Each
Issues.
person, each person, Linda, has their their own story, right? Their own background and things that have happened
Sure.
to them and
Mhm.
affects us all differently, of course.
Right. And
So,
that's
but
why,
I'm,
oh, go
mhm.
ahead, sorry. Go ahead, finish
That,
what you're saying.
that's why with you, what I really like is that each person can find their truth and what they have gone through. And okay, this is where I am now. I understand the past and this is where I am. And what can I do to move forward and to go through the trauma, to go past it,
Hmm. Yep.
which I had not been able to find answers, you know. Oh, it's the past. Just put it past you. Like spiritually, that's what, I've been told. Okay, well, it's the past. You just have to kind of like get over it, put it in the past. No, it's not working like that.
It doesn't work. That's called spiritual bypassing. When people try to just become
Ah,
spiritual but don't
okay.
really deal with what's stuck in their body and the thought patterns that got created. You can't.
And now I understand that trauma, your body, your cells have memory of the trauma, and that's why we're having all these reactions, but you can't necessarily, well, why am I doing like this? Why do I react like this?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. It's all
So,
like an automatic response of what's stored there until you clear
yeah.
it.
So having been adopted as a baby, like 2, 3 days, 3, 4 days, 3 days, I think I was 3 days old. Definitely see the root chakra right
Mhm.
there.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Because there
In
would
an
be this.
orphanage, right? We had baby orphanages here in Montreal in Canada. Still, this is 1970.
Right.
So picture an orphanage. You go in, the nuns are taking care of the babies, and it's just babies. There's no 3, 4, 5-year-olds. It's just babies.
Mm,
So that's how it was back then. It was still like that in 1970.
yes.
We had
Yep.
that here. So I've always struggled with rejection and abandonment,
Right.
but I understand it now and I can feel it coming up when something happens and I know the person's not doing it on purpose, but I feel that I can pinpoint it and I can address it.
Wonderful.
But
Yeah.
now I want to go deeper and let's yeah, really good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so one place that you could look is your energy centers for sure, and
Yeah.
how are they moving, and how have they been balanced? Things
Mm-hmm.
Other things that'll show up with imbalances in the sacral chakra are addictions to food, alcohol, drugs, any addiction because you're trying to feel better, right? You don't have that
Yeah.
solid root, that safety, that groundedness, and now people try to find ways to feel better. And in their health, urinary tract infections, low back pain, boredom and dissatisfaction. Because remember, this center, this chakra is all about joy and passion and, enjoying life and being here
Yeah.
to have a joyful life. So when that's off, we're not joyful, we're
Yeah.
dissatisfied, we're bored.
Hmm.
Another way that I think of this is at the root chakra, that's when you're safe and you're ready to, okay, now I'm here, I myself am safe. I'm ready now to go create family. So now moving up into the second center, that's reproduction, right? Creating family, creating your own tribe. And then that takes us to the third one. Once you have reproduced and you have a family and your own little community, now you're out in the world staking your claim in the world. That would be the third one up, which is the solar plexus in the body. That correlates to above your belly button and below your bottom rib, so like your abdomen there, but above the belly button. That's the place where your adrenals are, so stress, fight or flight is there. The solar plexus is the seat of your self-esteem, how
Okay.
you see yourself in the world. Do you have good self-esteem? Do you have personal goals and feel like you can meet them and create them? It's your personal power. Do you have the ability to take action? Do you have confidence? So, if we're all good, we create life, we, connect with someone, we create life, we create a family. Now we're staking our place in the world. And we do that appropriately? Or do we, is competition, because there is competition, are we egotistical and overly competitive and aggressive and angry and everything is for me? Or the opposite would be low self-esteem, not confident, a lot of self-doubt, feeling confused about identity, feeling insecure. So any imbalance is going to either, one end or the other, either hugely obsessive, power hungry, competitive, arrogant, walking all over people, or not speaking up, etc. And in your physical body, you might feel a lot of nausea there, like stomach, you get a stomach ache, but up high, right? Not down in the lower belly. Nausea.
Like heartburn,
Yes, that could be the beginning of
kind of like
heartburn,
heartburn.
and also in the heart chakra as well, any heartburn, but that indigestion coming up, absolutely. That's indigestion is heartburn, right? So liver
Yeah.
issues, gallstones, indigestion, pancreas issues, adrenals that, can't handle their stress, that you're constantly have wonky cortisol. So those are all the health ways that it shows up. And as I already listed, the ways in your life, how you deal with things. Okay. The next one up. So I'm going to show you in a second. Yeah, I'll just do that in a second. I'll put that thought to the side. The next one up is the heart chakra. And it's right below your breastbone, right where your heart center resides. It's also, you can see the gland. So what I like about this chart is it tells you which glands are, and then on this side, these are the nerves, but which glands and which nerves are active in each particular energy center. So I want to point out the thymus gland, because the thymus gland, it's right under your breastbone, kind of above the heart. It's the master gland for the immune system. So the thymus gland.
1, 2. The heart is the fourth.
The heart is the fourth chakra, yes. And the thymus gland, as the master gland for the immune system, its job, it has like over, I think, 1,400 functions, and it's constantly governing the immune system so that your body is protected. It's no accident that it's located where your heart is. And the heart chakra is all about your relationship to yourself, right? So the immune system's job is to keep out things that are unsafe and toxic, bacteria, viruses, cancer cells, right? Find them and get rid of them. If your relationship to yourself is wonky, you're not going to have good boundaries. It's autoimmune issues. And that's, again, the immune system is not working as it should. Has a lot to do with the thymus gland is here, and the energy, we're not getting good energy up into the heart. We're not loving ourselves. We're not giving and receiving love, which is really why we're here. We come from an energy of love. We're here to give and receive love. Yes, have boundaries if somebody, if something's not appropriate. And if we're wonky in the relationship to ourselves, sometimes we don't have great boundaries. We keep saying yes to people. We let people walk all over us, or we put walls up around our heart. Either way. So when this center is working well, I just want to make sure I cover everything. It's our ability to give and receive love. It's where we learn and cultivate compassion, empathy, forgiveness. So if people are in the world just, really judgmental or closed off from other people, if they're very critical of other people, because this is where we connect to ourselves and to the rest of life, like all of life, nature, wildlife. It's at our heart center that we understand how connected we are. So again, if the energy there is not flowing as it should, you could be closed off, you could be numb emotionally, you could not have great boundaries. It will affect your immune system. Autoimmune disease, 85% women, and it's on the rise because our stress, and this will make more sense in the next slide that I'm going to show you, but when we're so stuck in stress, the energy is not coming up to the higher centers. We are using and consuming all of our energy just to survive. We're in survival. So in order for the energy to come up, you've got to get out of survival. You've got to get out of fight or flight to even allow the energy flow to keep moving up into the heart. If this is not working well, we self-isolate. We might appear loving, but it's really to fill a void because we don't really have a good loving relationship with ourself. That's what's critical. That's going to determine every other relationship. So if we have codependency, or we're like, no, I don't need relationships, either way, look at the heart chakra. Physically, what's going to show up in the physical body is chest pains, heart disease, respiratory issues, right? Because the lungs are also right there. So you've got anything to do with the heart and the lungs, shortness of breath, breast issues. So breast cancer, or just even, nodules or lumps, breast lumps, because the breast is the expression. So it's the feminine, right? And as the feminine, what we're meant to do is be expressive and share emotions. When we block that, one of the ways it can show up is in the breast, because we're not nurturing ourselves, right? That's what the breasts do, is they nurture and take care of. And so it's all related. So you could see breast issues, heart, respiratory, panic attacks, depression, because we're not connected with other people. Again, we're designed to connect. The upper back pain, so along there, like same area as the front, just in the back. So if you have a lot of upper back pain, and those immune issues, I think the immune issues are the most important to really consider. As someone who's had 4 autoimmune conditions, I'm very tuned into how did that happen and why. And when your heart is closed, the thymus is not getting the energy, it's not conducting its function and keeping the immune system going in the way it needs to. Okay, the next one is the throat. And at the throat, you've got the thyroid. This is the center for communication and self-expression, where you're speaking your truth and being authentic. Say that again, Sonia, it kind of broke up.
Yeah, I had a lot of issues when I was young. My tonsils taken out.
Yeah, the
So
mouth.
tonsillitis after tonsillitis.
Yep, all of that area here. So any issues in your physical body, thyroid issues, tonsils, chronic sore throats, or infections, jaw, teeth. It's the ability here to give voice to your soul. So if you're going to go back to the root, if you don't feel grounded and secure, and you don't have a sense of community, and you don't feel your personal power, and you're not relating to yourself with self-love, how able are you going to be to voice your truth and your soul? How able are you to be out in the world and really be a self-expression of your unique self? And that's what this is all about. So when this center is not balanced, we are overly critical and judgmental. You might notice in how people communicate. So sometimes there's nonstop talking. Do you ever be around somebody who just has to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk? Or they're really loud, right? Like there's no room for anybody else to talk, because communication.
I call that monologuing.
Yes, instead of a
it's not you're not communicating ping pong back and forth. The person is just having a monologue.
Right. And they don't realize that. There's just,
No, they don't.
it's just their style, and it's has a lot to do with not having balance in who they are and what they want to share about themselves.
Uh-huh.
You might dominate over people. So somebody else is trying to talk and you just talk over them. Or
Mm-hmm.
the opposite could be afraid to speak. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to be trouble. Keeping yourself quiet, uncertainty about yourself, suppressing your feelings, having trouble with words like stumbling, stuttering, being shy, anything like that. The thyroid issues are going to show up either hyper or hypo, maybe thyroid autoimmune. So again, any of the sores in the mouth and also up into hearing, because it's here and then also up into the ears. That's part of communication, right? Is being able to listen. Okay. Just checking my notes here. The next one up is the brow, which is right here between your eyes. Right here between your eyes is the third eye.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the seat of your intuition, your vision, your truth. This is where the right and left side of the brain communicate. So when we are stuck in stress and fight or flight, we're not really problem solving and using the right and left side of the brain. What we're doing is coming from the back of the brain, the amygdala, the fight or flight response, right? So we want to have energy here in the front. And so this energy center, it's called your third eye. It's called, it's where you get your vision and your truth from. And it's because your brain is functioning and communicating the way it's meant to. So when this is working well, you trust your intuition. You go inward and you look for your own inner guidance. You feel safe using facts and your feelings to be able to make decisions. So some people won't allow their feelings to come in. Just give me the facts. It doesn't, and other people are totally emotional. I know that the house is falling down, but I love the color. I want to buy it, something like that. So it's having the ability to use your emotions and the facts together to make good decisions from your brain and from your intuition. It's living in harmony. So when this center is out of balance, we over intellectualize, we rely too much on facts, or we have a distorted self-image because we're not really seeing, right? So seeing our truth. So it could be blurry vision, distortment in the vision and in our own self-image, eye issues, insomnia, anything to do with the eyes and how you see yourself and how you see your life in the world. Okay. And then the last one is the crown chakra. And that has to do right here, the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland, I didn't talk about the pineal gland, sorry. For the one we just talked about, the pineal gland is further back in the brain, and it's shaped like a pine cone. And it has a lot to do with how you create your life. It also produces melatonin and how you sleep. And a lot of healing happens when we sleep. So having good sleep and good melatonin allows us to connect to higher, what people would call divine knowing and wisdom. That all happens there. So the crown chakra, I just wanted to include that because I forgot that. The crown chakra is the pituitary, and that is the master gland of the endocrine system. The endocrine system is all your hormones, right? So the pituitary governs the thyroid, governs the thymus, governs the adrenals, governs the pancreas, and the reproductive glands. So getting energy all the way up to have that good flow that we talked about, just like your blood flow. If energy is not coming all the way up, then that whole endocrine system is going to be affected. And people think that, hormone imbalances are just part of life. It's because there's a reason why. There's always a reason why. It's not like the design was so flawed. The design is fine. We are not living and honoring the design of our body and of our energy and how we're designed and made to heal because we don't understand it. So hold on. I want to, if I do this, can you see this now? I just changed it. Can you see this?
Yes, kind of like the biofield.
Yes. Okay, good.
That's kind
So this is,
of what it looks like.
yeah, this is showing what it looks like when you live in survival. So the first three energy centers that we talked about, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, they
Mm-hmm.
are energy consumers. We need energy to survive. And when you're stuck in survival, then you're stuck consuming energy.
In
And
those three.
yeah, you live everything is down in those three. So the energy,
Mm-hmm.
if you, and they can see, they have the technology now to see the field. So this isn't
Mm-hmm.
like theory. They can actually see it and they can see how people's energy are based on what they're thinking. They can put electrodes on someone's head and show them pictures that are stressful or talk about things that are stressful, see the changes in the brain when that's happening, and then also see what's happening in their energy field.
Wow.
So cool, right?
Yes, it is. Well, there's been a lot of development in that
Mm-hmm.
area.
So what this is showing is when the energy is balanced well, all of the centers are lit up. So your energy is moving up through the body, up to the top, and then coming back down and around. So all of the centers are lit up. That means each wheel is moving as it should, sending energy up to the next wheel and to the next one. It means the nerves that center is affecting, those nerves, that part of the nervous system is working well. It means that the biochemistry is balanced. So then when we look at the energy around the body, it's symmetrical, it's appropriate, all the way
Mm-hmm.
around. When you look at the energy
Mm-hmm.
here, it's all stuck in the bottom three. This is someone who's in survival. So the heart, when you move from the solar plexus to the heart, that's when you're actually moving from more of your human being self to more of your spiritual self.
Spiritual
The
stuff.
top, the top energy centers are related to our spirituality, how we
Yes.
connect to the divine, how we use our inner guidance. So if you are not getting energy up there, you're not connecting to your spiritual self. You're very much in survival. And look at people around the world. Look at people, on TV when you see them and what people share on social media.
Yes.
Many, many people very stuck in looking good, staking their claim, um, being judgmental, not connecting, not being loving, not opening their heart, no compassion, no forgiveness, right? So
Mm.
the field around them, what happens is the energy that you have available to you is now shrinking. And when you're stuck in survival, you're consuming what's around you, and you're also, if you're codependent on other people or worried about what everybody else is thinking or being so consumed with material things, it's like your energy scatters. One of the things that we want to do to get this to be balanced is to pull the energy back into you, into your field, and to allow this field to um, regenerate, like get the energy back to a balanced full field. So there's a lot of ways that
Mm-hmm.
you need to do that. Managing your thoughts and emotions so you don't stay stuck in survival. When people are stuck in survival by what they're thinking and feeling, it's very difficult to get this to be balanced. So managing your thoughts and your feelings. The next thing is allowing stuck energy and stuck emotions like anger and resentment and sadness and grief and shame, getting those emotions, allowing them to move out. Because when they are stuck, they will block the flow of energy. Emotions are energy. Energy in motion. That's what an emotion is. So if you're not moving the emotions out, you're going to disrupt the flow. Everything is energy. So there's the potential for a lot of things to disrupt the flow, which just means be a good steward of your energy. Like, pay attention on a daily basis. What am I doing to manage my energy, to manage the vibration of my energy? Where is it at?
Mhm.
Is it at anger and shame, or is it at joy? And what do I need to do to get it there? So there's, a lot of things affect it. The food that you eat, when we are a biological being that goes along with this earth. So long before there were 7-Elevens and drive-through processed foods and,
Mhm.
packages and microwaves, what we ate
Mhm.
was whole food from the earth.
Yeah.
That's what our body recognizes. So the processed foods, the body doesn't recognize. That causes a
Mhm.
disruption in the energy. That will block energy flow. Being around people who make you, contribute to negative feelings. I was about to say who make you feel negative, but no one makes us feel anything. We're responsible for how we feel. So, but in order to encourage feeling the way you want to feel, who do you hang around with? Who are the people in your circle? Are they people who are also stuck in fight or flight, who are judgmental, gossiping, talking about other people, holding resentments, fueling the fire? All of those things will disrupt your energy flow. Clearing trauma. So, as we talked about at the beginning, that the cells actually have memory. Much of our body is our subconscious memory. The body remembers everything. So consciously, you're not thinking about what happened in sixth grade or when you were 5 years old or your junior prom dance or, your first breakup. That you're not thinking about those, but they're all in your body, in your cellular memory. And if there's memories there that are painful, then that's going to show up in your health. It's going to show up in your energy. And then when those imbalances happen, you'll see it in other areas, right? In all the different ways that we talked about. So I wanted to give you guys, there's, a lot more people registered, they're just not here live. So when you're watching the replay, I wanted to give you an understanding of what we're talking about when we say the energy centers, how they work in the body, why they're important, what they affect. So just to connect the dots, and you don't have to give any details, Sonia, but when I said pick two things in your health and two things in your life that you'd like to address or wish were working differently or you've struggled with, if you did that, now look at what each of these centers govern and how they function. Can you see a correlation?
Oh, yes, definitely. I already did the the dots. So the root chakra,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Sonia,
because I've
Sonia, can you hear me?
had
Sonia, can you hear me?
problems in the past and better
So, okay, I was looking at the
because
chat.
yes, yep.
Yeah, I can't, you're just cutting out a lot. We really didn't hear anything of what you said. It was just all really blurry. So it's fine. You don't have to say it again. I
Okay, is it,
wanted to make sure you connect the dots for yourself so that you can start to see where do you want to go to
yeah,
work. Okay, good. Okay,
yes.
okay. So this would be the time that I would leave for questions, but if you're not on live, then you can always send me a comment or reach out to me, anybody, if you have any questions afterwards. Managing your energy centers goes along with clearing out from your past what there is to overcome. It goes along with creating vibrant health, changing your health issues. So the energy has to be part of that. It's not the only thing, but it's something that you want to be aware of. And so this is the
Mm-hmm.
work that I do. If whoever's watching this later on the replay, if you want to have a conversation with me about the work that I do, I also do use energy modalities in the ways that I work with people. As well as the way, when we work on rewiring how we think and clearing emotions, we do all of that so that we have the best outcomes for people to keep practicing and learn from. So definitely reach out if you want any information about that. Okay?
Great.
Awesome. Okay, so I will send this replay out tonight, and the two charts that I pulled up on the screen, I'm going to include as an attachment to the replay, so you can print those out and keep them if you'd like. Make sure you check your spam folder. I guess if you're hearing me say this, then you found it. But sometimes it goes out and it goes right to your spam folder, and then people are like, I didn't get the replay. So yeah, so I look forward to hearing any questions that you have. And then if you're a member of the Healing Circle, remember that we have a coaching call on the first Tuesday of every month at 1 o'clock Eastern time. I'm in Eastern time. So next Tuesday is the first Tuesday of the month. So at 1 o'clock, if you have questions about this workshop or specific things about your life, if I can give you a perspective or give you some coaching to help you move, you bring your questions to the coaching. But your Healing Circle membership is also has a coaching session, so come to it if you can. Okay, 1 o'clock on Tuesday. Okay.
Okay. Thanks,
All
Linda.
right. Thanks, Sonia. So nice to
Bye-bye.
see you. Yep. See you next month, everybody.